You know what you should do? You should follow me on Twitter at Bromo018. Link in the description. Do it now. Hello everyone, it's Bromo18 here as always, and welcome to episode 48 of our Ajax career mode series. Big game today, away against arch-rivals Feyenoord. Really looking forward to this one. But first of all, before we can get into all of that, I'm going to show you the highlights of the previous 3 games that we have played in between these episodes. So we begin the highlights with this game against Heracles. And it started off quite poorly. We go 1-0 down early on. Some poor marking from the corner, but thankfully the reply is pretty quick. It falls to Myron Boadu, and despite the fact the keeper gets a touch to it, it does go in. And we then finally rounded off the scoring as Mike Voss came off the bench early on due to an injury and scores the strangest of goals you'll ever see. Then we move on to this Shakhtar game, and El Shaarawy with an absolute wonderful strike, and we gotta watch it again. It's a really well worked goal as we take the lead early on. A lovely volley indeed as he comes into the team, having been rested in the Heracles game, and it was a brilliant introduction for him. Then afterwards, late on in the game, we struggled to really pierce through, but finally we got a little bit of luck with his header from Yusuf Poulsen. Nevertheless, it's a good finish, but the scoring wasn't finished there. Shakhtar with a really well worked goal, work an opening, and do make it 2-1. Then we move on to this game, and as you can see by the scoreline there, we do actually miss one of the Poulsen goals. It was 2-0 originally, and it's really disappointing. This is the problem with highlights, is that some of the goals at the end when you go into the match highlights just don't show and you can't watch them. So I couldn't show you that one. So yeah, we go 2-0 up in this game, and then all of a sudden we bottle it and leave it 2-2. As you saw there, Neres and one of the Fortuna attackers have a little bit of a God knows what it is, and it's just a messy goal. And then we fumbled the lead. There it is, 2-2. Thankfully, we have a reply though. First of all, Boadu defies physics with this goal. And it's very much reminiscent of FIFA in general, really. As you look how he strikes this, it doesn't look right at all. It doesn't look like he should be able to do that. Loop it up and go to the opposite side as well. Really strange goal. And then we round off the scoring late on, thankfully, with a tying Coman's goal. Very much reminiscent of how he scores a lot of goals. Storming into the box, peels off, and he's there to pick up a low cross, which was really pleasing in the end, despite the fact that we do, as always, drop a 2-goal lead. But nevertheless, it meant it was 3 wins out of 3, and we was very pleased with that. And with that in mind, let us return to this. It's a sort of new structure we're working on. Of course, there is a slight problem with the highlights, as mentioned, that you know, they do tend to miss out some of the goals, so I can't show you them, as was the case with Poulsen there on his first goal. So yeah, we'll see how it goes in terms of doing that in future episodes, but it's certainly something I want to look into. We did it with a Rangers Master League, and we'll see how it goes. But today we have Feyenoord. They've started off not as well as they'd have liked, to be honest. They've already lost 3 games out of 10. So you know, they're going to be looking for a bounce back. In turn, however, though, they have conceded the lowest amount along with us, but their goals scored is, you know, the record needs improvement. So that's sort of where they're fumbling at the moment. I'm sort of predicting that it's going to be tough to break them down today. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's how the league looks anyway. Apart from that, after those games that you've seen, 9 wins and 1 draw out of 10 games, and it takes us to 28 points. PSV did actually lose to Vitesse, not yesterday, but the previous game week, and therefore are now 3 points off. It's quite tight in terms of the rest of the teams, but us, we are already sort of bridging that gap, so to speak, and you know, we'll see how it goes anyway. But yeah, for now, let's have a look at the team before I discuss something else with you very quickly. I am actually going to change it during the episode today. So we're going to bring in Fosu Mensah in for Sepp van den Berg, and this will leave, you know, the true trusted centre backs, the ones that certainly would be my first choice. Might be as we'll come out and we'll bring Daley Blind back in to that role. Myron Boadu can come up front for Yusuf Poulsen. I think we'll take out Danjuna Groeneveld for Stefan El Shaarawy. Elsewhere, I think PSG can come onto the bench. You know, not really too much to say about that one. And just looking elsewhere, do we want to bring Ziyech in for a Van der Beek, or do we go with that? Maybe a Coman Van der Beek, a bit more energy in the team in terms of covering ground, etc. I think we will go with those two, and we'll see what they can do. They've certainly played well as a partnership in these last few games. You know, we've had them in, as you guys have seen in previous episodes, and they're doing well for sure. So yeah, I think we're going to trust this midfield too, and see how it goes. But apart from that, I think the team lineup is ready to go. So we are going to go with that. Quickly, what I want to show you before we get more into it is that I have actually now changed the sliders. If we have a look here, this is the user one anyway. So shot speed has been taken down slightly, injury frequency has gone up, as has goalkeeper ability. Run frequency has increased up to 60, and then first touch control error is down to 42. Likewise, with the CPU, we've actually decreased their pass error as well. That's just to make it a bit more challenging. Shot speed has gone down because, again, there's such an overpowered feature at the moment where they'll shoot it first time, the CPU, and they might be from like 30 yards out, but it will just rocket straight into the top corner. Very unrealistic. So trying to tone that down a little bit. Injury frequency has gone up. Marking is tighter, again, to make it not only more realistic but just a bit more challenging. Run frequency has increased. Fullback positioning, again, they'll push forward a little bit more because they don't tend to do it a lot in games usually. And also first touch control error is 42. This is not only for to make it more challenging for myself, but also for realism purposes. You know, it's there just for a more realistic game, because a lot of time I'll find that the AI isn't marking well enough and I can just stroll in on goal. So we make the marking a little bit tighter, you know, and it certainly helps. Same with run frequency. It's just not often enough you get in opposition players or your own players making runs in behind, making runs across the pitch horizontally. So again, it's all for not only a challenge but also realism purposes. So we're going to see how it goes. I've tested these out in other career modes. Been doing all sorts really, and they've been working fine in that. So I haven't tested it out in the Arch career mode. I'm presuming it will still be the same. Game speed is on slow, by the way. So I'm presuming it will play the same pretty much. So it has been tested, but we'll find out anyway. But with that note, it's time to begin. So let's begin against Feyenoord.
Well, the ghosties and the ghoulies might be out, but also out are the footballers on Halloween. Alan Smith alongside me, and I'm Martin Tyler. Match coming up here, Feyenoord against Ajax. Just a quick word on this super scoring season for the visiting team today.
Well, they play such an open, expansive game. It does leave them vulnerable at times, but they've just been outscoring the opposition.
Robin van Persie, the stories in the papers this week have been about possibly him announcing his retirement. Alan, what do you make of that?
Well, it's his decision. I mean, you are a long time retired and you don't want to make a premature judgment, but he hasn't been in the best of form recently.
Kick off then, hopefully we can get the 3 points in the big derby of the season so far.
On the flanks, it's quite a complicated job actually, because they've got to come inside.
Nice fast possession and passing. Coman is looking for Nenes now. Got players running forward into the box. He's going to look for Boadu. Boadu will cut it back. Van der Beek is there. Neres. Oh, it's hit the post. And Feyenoord get it away. It's good promising signs early on.
Better play to stop the chance.
Right, well, that's half time. It was a really boring first half, and I've got to apologise to you guys. Nothing happening other than that effort really early on in the game where we hit the post. You know, apart from that, it's just, you know, it's just been a pretty poor game. And look at Feyenoord. It's so frustrating when you come and teams, even though they're at home, they just do not attack. And Feyenoord have been guilty of that yet again. I mean, you know, come on. We can't, the owners can't be on us all the time. We need teams to actually put it on us at some point. You'd expect Feyenoord to, being a local derby and then being a, you know, ambitions of win the title, etc. We need more. So hopefully in the second half we've got a bit more in us to deal with that. Blind Hakimi comes inside. Van der Beek. He'll go to Neres. Good ball. Oh, it's a save from the keeper. Feyenoord once again clear it away. Good build-up play though.
The opposition will get a throw here because.
Right, that's it. We're going to make a couple of subs. This isn't good enough now. The two centre midfielders been poor. Maybe we take them both off. I guess we go with Van der Beek for now and bring Ziyech on. arch-rvials can come off as well. We could bring on out. Najuma Gurnabout on. He's trying to affect the game.
Into the wide areas, and they couldn't find the player that they were trying to pick out.
Really love. He's made a mistake, but he's made up for it, winning the ball back.
Koeman's looking for Ziyech. Spotted him as well. It's a great ball, and Ziyech gonna have an opportunity on goal. Save once again, and Feyenoord are gonna get it away yet again. Coming closer, but not good enough. Ziyech to whip it in. Fosse could be on the end of that. It's out to Blind. Blind to Gurnabout. He'll go for goal. Drops to him. Save from the keeper yet again. And it is just chance after chance, really, that has looked exactly the same. They've all looked a carbon copy. Keeper saves it, and Feyenoord panic and clear it away. We're coming closer, but we can't quite get it. Blind. Over to Hakimi. He's going to try and get it. Oh.
He's knocked it out of harm's way.
Bawadu, Koeman's, Bawadu, Blind, lovely work play, over to Ziyech, good touch, the finish is there, and finally it's 1-0, Ajax, 85 minutes gone, and Hakim Ziyech off the bench to make it 1-0. Brilliant bit of build-up play, the passing, really impressive stuff. If we have a look here, many players involved, and it's a great touch just to take it past the centre-back from Hakim Ziyech. And there's no mistaking from the finish into the far right-hand corner. Does actually take a little nick off the keeper, but we won't care. It's 1-0, and finally we've found the breakthrough. Feyenoord have not really put it on us, and they should be made to regret that, as they have done now. And finally, with just a few minutes to go, they may not have enough time to put it back. We'll see.
Kwon Chang-Hu. They know the clock is against them. The opposition is doing well against them as well.
Blind on a ball now to get it out. There it is, full-time whistle. Not the best of performances, but we'll take it. It's a win. We were the better team against our local rivals, and it puts us another 3 points closer to the league title. It's certainly a positive result, and that's the most important thing. Some disappointing performances, it has to be said. You know, and if we have a look in the player ratings, it probably won't be reflected. You see, Blind had an 8.2, but I thought Daley Blind was really poor today. Maybe the worst player on the pitch, for us anyway. Koeman again didn't have a very good game. So there's certainly some disappointing performances, but we will take that win. That is the most important thing. Many more shots, and certainly the better team, and a deserved 3 points in the end. Let's have a look elsewhere. Vitesse have actually lost against ADO Den Haag, which is pretty big in terms of the Champions League race. And in terms of title hopes, that already puts them, you know, maybe 8 points off. So, yeah, surprising to see for sure. We just had a youth squad report. Yeah, we have. So let's have a look. First of all, though, we will have a look at the league standings just to see where we stand in the Eredivisie table. So we have a look there. 6 points clear now. Already 6 points clear. PSV can't quite, you know, keep the pressure on. Same with AZ Alkmaar, same with Vitesse, same with Feyenoord. Already we're 12 points ahead of Feyenoord. So, you know, so think of that what you will. But, yeah, so it certainly makes for healthy reading. Let's have a look at our youth squad report now and see if there's anyone else who maybe get a promotion. Mike Dijkstra's coming very close now indeed. Salim Bahari, I think we'll release him in the end. We're only looking for 94 players, same as Frederick Thompson. Stafford Ben Zekri can also go. Let's keep having a look through here, see if there's any. Got Jonas Servison, not quite, I'm afraid. Same with Anwar Saber. Oh, that's only promoted him, never mind. Alexander Hendricks is coming very close, maybe one more month, and he could be ready. We'd like to see his potential just shortened in terms of the gap a little bit. We'd prefer to see it up to a level of, maybe 88 to 94. So we'll see how that one goes. Also, we've got a couple more here. Jan van der Meer, 81 to 94, 63 overall. He's getting very close as well, so that's promising to see. Marvin Smith's also looking good, so we've got a bit of competition between him and Mike Dijkstra. We'll see how that one pans out. Certainly, there's some exciting prospects though, and we're definitely going to keep an eye on this and see if they can pull through. We've already got a couple of youth academy players pulled through who are starting to make waves, such as Voss and Mike Peters. So it's good to see, and there's definitely some more to come. Svensson's here, he's still training him, so we'll see how he goes. I didn't mean to promote him, to be honest. I'm going to have to probably sell him or release him. Doesn't quite have what it takes. But yeah, apart from that though, certainly very positive stuff. So we're going to keep an eye on it. But I think this is going to round off this episode there, guys. For the next episode, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do. Maybe we skip to a double of AZ Alkmaar and Schalke. We'll show the highlights of Shakhtar and Willem. Certainly going to see how it pans out anyway. But for now, we are going to round it off there. If you've enjoyed this episode, then make sure you leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed it, of course. And subscribe to the channel for more regular gaming content. Don't forget to give me a follow on Twitter using the Twitter handle @Bromo018. The link for that is, as always, in the description. And on that note, I'm Bromo18, and I will see you soon.